election.
What's amazing, too, about the Harlem moment yesterday, the drop-in that he did, is when you kind of contrast that with what we saw when Biden stopped into, Radio City. And what happened in front of Radio City?
Yeah.
Protests.
Yeah.
As opposed to Donald Trump showing up someplace where they told us he could never go. He's welcomed like...
He's changing the dynamic.
Yeah, he's welcomed like a savior.
I said on the air last night, it was like Elvis Presley came in. I know he was going to be well received, but not like that.
Yeah.
It was really something to
and
see.
Stuff like that, that is the kind of stuff for a campaign you cannot plan, you cannot pay for.
No, in the campaign.
When it's organic like that,
Yeah.
and I think he should be doing more of these because, we've talked about it. He's got this great rapport when he's one-on-one with people.
Yep.
All of a sudden things change. Like the lady that he hugged in that Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
That moment went viral. She said it was a learning experience for my students because they were able to see the experience firsthand on how the media can warp the perception of an opinion or a person, according to...
But he's got magic.
Montgomery.
He's got magic with people, and just like the doormen will tell you in the city, and the concrete contractors and stuff.
I guess my question is to you. I hear what you're saying, but at the expense of Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Arizona, Nevada, places that we have to put resources in, when we say he has to make a push to New York, Chicago, L.A.,
every major city. It's not, I couldn't get in all the cities, and I should have said every major American city is under assault. This will help because Pennsylvania, Trump's behind right now. The Pennsylvania legislature might go Democrat. They added 22 new members to the Pennsylvania State House in the last election. The Congresswoman, Susan Wild, has 3 times the money of all 3 Republican primary opponents combined. She raised $1.35 million last quarter. She has $2.66 million on hand in Pennsylvania. So there's congressional seats at stake. There's presidential races at stake, and it helps in the battleground states.
Right, but you're making my point, I think. Maybe I didn't finish. If you want to put a percentage on it, what's the percentage of resources you're putting into Pennsylvania for what you just described, or you're putting into New York where, okay, he may make some gains, but...
It's not about New York only. It's not about New York. It's about Wisconsin. It's about all the states that have
I agree with that.
Cities under assault. Phoenix has like the highest kidnapping rate in the United States, I believe, if not the Northern Hemisphere. And so this is about that people can see the real Donald Trump and... expose the media lies that maybe there's this change nationwide and Trump gets another 5-8% of the black vote. He gets another 5% of the Hispanic vote. He gets another 3 or 4% of those who don't go to rob RFK because RFK's taken tough stances against the Palestinians. And where do they have to go? The pro-Palestinian vote. They're not going to go to Biden. They're not going to go to RFK. They can sit out. And how many Jews have to be under attack in America? So maybe 3% of them, even though Jews are only 7.5 million, I think, in the whole country. So if you add it all up, it maybe ensures Trump victory in these battleground states if they don't cheat. So I think that's where it benefits. And I understand. Okay. It's not just about, he's making a play for New York, but the reality is that it's 2-1 Democrat.
Right. We got to win the Electoral College, not the popular vote. So picking up 30% in New York is all well and good. You can go, hey, look at me, but it's not doing
in
any good.
But in Pennsylvania, where he's only behind 0.8%.
Yeah, Pennsylvania is a battleground.
And we know maybe they stopped the vote just to see how many votes they needed to beat Donald Trump.
Right.
If that doesn't happen again, it's a runaway for Donald Trump.
And Damon, here, and we were talking about this last night. I think it's the picture that it puts out there. It translates because if people around the country in these inner cities see him going to Harlem and getting that response, all of a sudden it makes it better for them to be like, hey, you know what? I'm keeping this to myself. I'm going to go pro-Trump because look, even in Harlem they're cheering this guy. It almost gives them street cred.
And
right?
I don't
combine
disagree
that.
with that, but not enough to win these places.
But it's enough to get it out there where it's all over the place.
So there's a nationwide effect.
Right. And now you've got a groundswell where there wasn't before. You've got people talking where they maybe didn't talk about it. Now it's okay to talk about it. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going this way this time. And you might start opening that door to have these conversations with those people that maybe you didn't think they would vote that way because they see what a Biden administration, the third Obama administration, has been doing to them.
And it's benefited Trump that 5% of the black vote is walking away from Biden already.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged thing.
When you get to campaigns, what people remember, things. They remember things, right? Things that stand out. Things that you can throw on a bumper sticker that'll stand out.
Well, I'm worried.
They'll remember pictures, right? Of
sure,
and how that made them
think
feel.
about all the damage that the media has done and the election interference just against Trump. I mean, he's overcome all of these things. He would win by 25% if he had a fair media.
If he had a fair media, it would be Reagan-like in his second term.
A mandate.
Yeah, it would be a landslide of proportion.
But Damon, I'm also worried about North Carolina. With 37% of the votes unaffiliated voters, 47% of them are under the age 35, and they're not super MAGA, but they lean Republican.
Well, what's
so
Mark
he needs
Robinson
to capture
look like?
that.
What do his numbers look like right now?
I think he's down in the polls. The Democratic candidate, the Attorney General, he's very popular. And again, it's about abortion too. And that could hurt Mark Robinson. But, he's polling decent, but I think he's still down 5 points or so. But I'm worried. North Carolina is in play. North Carolina is in play because only 30% of Republicans, I think 31% of Democrats, and 37% are unaffiliated. And if Trump plays his cards right and the economy goes more in the tank and there's more stuff and more support about Trump having a heart and reaching out to these places, the big black vote in North Carolina could propel him, guarantee him a 2, 3, 4% victory.
Yeah. And again, people in North Carolina, everybody knows where Harlem is. Everybody knows where Harlem is.
Yeah.
And they know what it means.
And they never equate Trump with Harlem. But
right.
Now they do.
Now they do. And they see people cheering.
I think so.